Anthony Joshua defeats Robert Helenius, but he fails to impress. And this is what I was talking about before the fight was made. Before I get into it, hit the thumbs up, sub, and notification bell. That we get updated when I drop news content like this. With that being said, let's get into the video. Look, guys, I brought this up before the fact, and now I'm reading article after 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 article, seeing video after 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 video of people comparing the performance of Anthony Joshua to Deontay Wilder. I brought this up beforehand, and I was just sitting back, staying cool, seeing what happened after the fight, because I knew unless AJ went in there in the first round and sparked Helenius in devastating fashion very quickly, faster than Wilder, then people would be comparing the performances. And that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly why this fight made no sense, because he was in a lose-lose. It did not matter how good he looked, because even if he would have knocked out Helenius in the second round, took no damage, people would have still said he did it slower than Wilder. And he was coming off a knockout loss to Wilder, even though he had the little tomato can in between. So technically a win, but really it wasn't a real fight. So it was a confidence builder, as they call it in boxing. So anyways, with that being said, to me, this was... Eddie Hearn makes some stupid decisions. Like, he really does. Like, I don't understand his promotion mindset. Like, I don't get it. He can be a genius and take a guy like AJ from nothing to one of the biggest names in boxing, probably worth the most in boxing outside of maybe Canelo. However, then on the flip side of the coin, he can make stupid business decisions. Now, I don't know if this is the fact that Eddie Hearn thinks that AJ can't beat Deontay Wilder and he's trying to cash him out by going off the hype of making Wilder feel confident that Wilder did a better job. Now Wilder will take the fight, whereas if AJ came off a spectacular knockout over somebody else, maybe Hearn feels like Wilder wouldn't have the confidence. I don't know, but I consider it a cash out because, in my opinion, AJ's not ready for Wilder. And I've always said, and I could be wrong because I switched up on Terrence Crawford. For 5 years straight, I said Crawford would beat Spence. Spence had his fight with Ugas. I changed my mind, and lo and behold, Crawford outclassed Spence. So I could be wrong here. It is a possibility, a strong potential. However, I don't see AJ beating Wilder, especially next. He's had 2 fights in a row since his 2 losses to Usyk, and in both fights, he looks very apprehensive. The worst thing in the world that you can be against Deontay Wilder is apprehensive, because if he sees that you're sluggish, you're slow, you're scared to throw, he's going to assault you, he's going to attack you. And one of the chinks in AJ's armor, and it's still there, and it's always been there from the beginning till now, is he doesn't really attack back when being barraged. And that is what Wilder excels at. If he's got you hurt, if he's got you scared, if he senses blood in the water, he goes into a frenzy like a pack of piranhas. He just throws everything at you. He windmills you to death. And that's the worst thing in the world for a guy who doesn't punch back when he's being punched. So I personally think AJ needs more fights to get his confidence back, because it doesn't matter that AJ is technically better. Yes, he is. He is technically better than Deontay Wilder. The fact is, if he's too hesitant to let that technique go, it's not going to matter, because all Wilder has to do is stun him and finish him, and then the technique goes out the window. If you get knocked out in the first round, it doesn't matter if you're more technical, you're sleeping. So again, technique is great if you can utilize it, if you're choosing to utilize it. But if you fight scared, like Fulton did against Inouye, it never turns out good. And fighters, they call it giving too much respect. You'll see a guy who looks good, they get in there with another guy who's a great, and the younger guy who looks good is just very hesitant. He's second guessing. He doesn't attack like he normally does, because that respect, he's overdoing it. He's giving the other fighter too much respect, and then you normally see veterans beat him. I'm not saying that Wilder is a veteran and AJ's not. What I'm saying is the comparison remains true. If AJ gives Wilder too much respect, he has already lost the fight. AJ must get into mid-range, close range, which we haven't really seen him fight in the pocket. He must live in mid-range, close range, because if he stays at a gap, Wilder, in my opinion, is the fastest heavyweight at closing the gap. He's like a sprinter coming off the blocks. I've said that before. He goes from 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. He's an electric car. This dude is very quick off the line. He can come across the ring, close the distance in a blink of an eye. And a lot of the times when he knocks guys out or knocks them loopy, it's because he attacks so quick you don't even see it. It's like lightning, bow, shock to the system. That's why in the past I've always said that I believe AJ's the harder puncher, but Wilder has the more what the fuck did I just get hit with? My comparison is the difference in you hit a wall and you're taking chunks out the wall with every punch. That's AJ. Whereas you could just push the wall over. The wall falls. There's no damage to the wall, but the wall's still on the ground nonetheless. That's Wilder. His power comes from his lightning fast speed. He doesn't have a lot of weight behind him. He doesn't have a lot of muscles behind him, but he has a hell of a lot of speed. And that's one way to generate power. I don't believe his punches are long lasting, as you saw with Fury. Fury got knocked down twice in 2 different fights, and he got up, and the minute he was up, he was completely back to normal. It doesn't have a long-lasting effect. It's like a flash grenade. Boop! You're knocked off your senses, but the minute you come back, you're good, versus a hand grenade being thrown at you. Once it explodes, you're dead. So again, I don't like this version of AJ. Yes, I want to see the fight. Yes, it's going to be a good fight, but I just don't know how Anthony Joshua beats Wilder, and I think business-wise, this was the dumbest thing he could have done because AJ is going to keep getting criticized till he gets in the ring with Wilder. And as weak as AJ is mentally, I think that criticism is only going to make him have a worse performance. Some people feed off of it. Like Terrence Crawford, he fed off of people saying that Spence was going to beat him. He fed off of proving that he's not the underdog. He's the better fighter. But AJ, on the other hand, he doesn't feed off of it. It destroys him. He thinks about it. And he thinks long about it, so the way he'll change it, the way he looks, the way he fights. When people like me and the media should have no bearing on him at all. He shouldn't care what we think, but he does. And it's just a lot of aspects to it that I don't think AJ's ready. And I've been riding with him the whole time, and I could be wrong. But I just think that if he fights the way he's been fighting in his last 2 fights, Wilder's going to find the mark. He's not going to be scared to let go because he's going to see AJ's too hesitant. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. As much as I like AJ, he's regressing every fight. He's looking worse. And it's sad. It's unfortunate because he's a great fighter. He's been a great fighter. But at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do with somebody if they don't have belief in themselves.